Good morning, y'all. How's everybody doing? It is Sunday. Yeah, I know I look a little rough, but it was a rough day yesterday. As most of you know, I was stranded in Central and South Florida as Hurricane Sally made its approach to the northern Gulf Coast, which is home for me. I got back in Friday evening late, and yesterday was my first chance to really get out and look around. I went to work almost immediately for my friends at WKRG, and I ran into some incredible stories of survival and heroism as I just made my way literally in my neighborhood. I'm going to share some of those with you as I am sharing with my friends at WKRG News 5. And I wanted to start with this one this morning because it's not only just an amazing story of survival and of heroism, it is also, without the principles involved, really knowing it at the time, I imagine, an example of a biblical principle being put to action. And this is how it goes. Chris Harper was riding out Hurricane Sally in a boat at the Oyster Bar Marina in Perdido Key. Things got so bad at one point, he literally had to abandon ship, jump off the boat, and jump into the water. Chris says that he clung to the pilings and the debris that were left in the marina at that point in time. It caused burns and rashes all over his face and his arms, his legs, and his chest.
Just when the boat was starting to really take on quite a bit of water, I opened the sliding glass back door, jumped in the water. I had no life jacket, I have no life raft. I survived somehow in the marina for maybe 2 or 3 hours, just bobbing up and down, hanging on to whatever I could. It's a big enough piece of dock that I can float out of this marina. And I said, I'm out of here. I'm gonna lay down on this thing and I'm gonna float down the intercoastal waterway till hopefully somebody sees me.
He made it to the Perdido Key Bridge, the Theo Bars Bridge, where the water level was so high he was able to get off of his raft onto a little ledge, a concrete ledge. And there he waited until sunrise, and then he started calling for help. Well, little did he know, but a family in the RV camp nearby heard his cries for help, and that set a rescue in motion.
So we came out about 5:30 in the morning, and I kept hearing something. At first I thought it was the wind kind of breaking around the bridge because it kind of sounded very distant. And I looked at my daughter and I'm like, Haley, do you hear someone yelling? So I kept pestering Josh over and over. I'm like, I swear I hear someone yelling. So he came down to the water, and then right over there on that pillar is where we learned that it was Chris.
At that point, I started notifying everybody in the RV park that we needed something, rope, something along those lines, got a kayak, and we were going to attempt to push the kayak out to him. The kayak flipped over, so that wasn't going to work. And we just said, I can swim out to him. So I swam almost to the pillar, enough to where when he jumped in, we were able to get a hold of him. And then Ash, he was over in this area and started screaming to everyone to pull. It was my wife and daughter on here and Ash. We all were swimming and pulling. Got him out, immediately started treating him for shock. So towels, warm clothes. Yeah, he was in and out of coherent. You know, he'd been in the water for 5.5 hours, and he was hypothermic. He was bad.
After I talked to Chris first, and he told me about Josh and Jennifer, he said he wanted to find them and tell them thank you. So I went looking for them in the RV park, and wouldn't you know it, the first RV I stopped at was the McKees. And so I talked with them, I interviewed them, and then I asked them if they would like to be reunited with Chris, and they said yes. And here's what happened.
How's your shoulder?
Take it easy now. Why are you wet, man?
Oh, we're washing all the stuff off the RV.
Thank you so much.
So what do you have to say to
This
this
man saved my life. He saved my life. His family saved my life. Get in here. They all pulled, 3 of them. I owe them more than anything I could ever say or do.
Now, Chris tells me that the very first thing he thought of when he went into that water was God, and he prayed for God to save him and to protect him. And he says he will always give thanks to God for making it through that night and that terrible storm. He also gives thanks to Josh and Jennifer and the others who helped him. You know, 1 John 3:18 tells us that we should love others not with words and speech, but with actions. And whether he realized it at the moment or not, that's exactly what Josh McKee did when he jumped into the water and swam out to save Chris. He did not know at that point just how bad off Chris was with the dislocated shoulder. And he said by the time he got to him, Chris was in shock and going in and out of consciousness. But Josh, with the help of his wife Jennifer and others at the RV park, were able to save him. You know, a lot of people are in trouble right now after Sally. They may not be drowning in water, but they may be drowning in other ways. And this is a time when we can show our love for humanity by actually reaching out and helping. Someone you know or someone you may not know may need help today. If you can find a way to help, help them. If you are the one in need of help, accept that help and then pay it forward the next time around. It is Sunday, and regardless of all that has happened, this is the day the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I hope you have a peaceful Sunday, and I'll see you in the morning.